Hey, welcome everybody. This is Terrell Sarver, and you are listening to the BeMEN radio show. And before we get started, I would like to see how you guys would like to tune in to us every week.
If this is your first time tuning into the show or to JQLM Radio and you would like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in, be sure to tell them to download the JQLM Radio app on their Apple or Android devices. You can also listen live to JQLM Radio 24/7, 365 via Amazon Alexa, TuneIn app, the Stream and Simple Radio app, and a host of other platforms of which you can find located on our website where you can also listen live at egoentertainmentnet.com. Also, don't forget to follow, like, and share us. We do follow back. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at JQLM Radio. You can also connect with Ego Entertainment Network at EgoEntNet. That's EgoEntNet on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also connect with us on LinkedIn at Ego Entertainment Network. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our YouTube channel, Ego TV Network, at youtube.com/Ego TV Network.
Hey y'all, welcome to the BeMEN radio show. And this is Terrell Sarver. I am one of your hosts.
And I'm Philip Moore, your co-host. Excited to be here back in the lab.
Man, we back in the lab, bro. It's been a minute, man.
Been a while.
We had to take a small hiatus, just get ready for the new year
Yeah,
and to be in position to accept assignment and to implement the assignment, right?
that's right. That's right. You don't quit. We call time out, but we don't quit. Sometimes we take a break to come back to do what we do and do it better.
Yeah, man, but I'm excited about this upcoming year, man. I'm excited about what God is going to do through us and through BeMEN. And it's exciting time, man, with everything that is going on in the world, man. This is the time that people need to be encouraged. This is the time that people
Mm-hmm.
need to have hope and know that our hope is dependent on Christ, right? That's where
Right.
our hope is. We don't depend on the stock market. We don't depend on the bitcoins, the crypto. We don't depend on even our paychecks, our jobs, right? Our source comes from the Lord, and that's where our help comes from.
That's
So,
right.
yeah,
Our hope is built in nothing less.
then Jesus' blood and righteousness.
Righteousness. That's how
Yes,
we roll.
sir.
That's
Yes,
how
sir.
we
No,
roll.
man, but man, we're happy to be at this new station too.
Yeah.
With Lady J, she's local here in Indianapolis, but she's known all over the world. She's doing some great things
Great
with
thing.
the
Yeah.
station, her entertainment business as well. She has TV. I think she has a TV network on Roku. They do a lot of in-house events, but also a lot of out-of-town events too. So if you guys are looking for any live events, any or maybe even want to publish a podcast or a radio show,
Right.
won't you contact this station to see how you can get connected? And I believe you will be very, very pleased with the professionalism, the customer service, and just all out total platform that she has. So we're just happy to be here.
Yeah, man. We are in a great place. Great place. I remember when I first met Lady J. That's a whole nother show, whole
Yeah.
nother program. But from when I first met her to where she is now, speechless, bro.
Yeah, she's making it
Speechless.
happen,
Yeah,
man. So,
yeah.
yeah, man, we're looking forward, man. We believe that God has called B men to the nations and to the world, and we're not here. Our mission and our objective is to focus on men.
Right.
But in order for men to be in place, we're holistic. We're about the family as well. One of the things that we like to focus on here when we're doing our segments is faith, family, finance, and fitness. And each week we're going to have a topic where we focus on one of those individual topics, right?
Right.
But today we have a gentleman in our studio with
Special
us
guest.
today. And today we're going to talk about health and wellness and fitness because we think that as our mind is being renewed and as our heart is being cleansed, also we need to work on our bodies, right? Our spirit is being renewed, but we also need to work on our bodies.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And how
Right.
to, what does health and wellness look like in 2022 when it's in reference to men, right? What do we need to
Right.
do to be financially fit, emotionally fit, but also our bodies need to be fit as far as what we consume, what we eat, even some of the medications and all that stuff that we've been taking too. So we have a gentleman here that I deem him to be an expert in this area. He is local here in Indianapolis, Indiana. The name of his establishment is Simple Garden CBD. How you doing, man?
I'm doing just fine, man. Happy to be here with you guys.
Yes, sir, man. Well, introduce yourself to the people, man. I'm sure you went to North Central High School right here locally in Indianapolis, Indiana, right?
North
Yeah,
Central class of
we're not
96.
gonna hold that against him. That's all right.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna hold
Now,
that. against
my name is Chris Newton, born and raised in Indianapolis.
Go ahead.
I went to North Central, graduated North Central, and then went into the Air Force right out of high school.
Oh, I didn't know you went to
Yeah,
the Air Force.
yeah,
I didn't
so
know
I did
that.
10 years in the Air Force.
10 years.
Wow. Okay.
And lived abroad and all that.
Yeah,
So got a little
yeah.
cultured.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now back in Indianapolis, started the CBD company in the summer of 2018.
Okay.
2018. So we've been at the store location now going on 2.5 years, be 3 this summer. So yeah, we just trying to spread awareness, bring CBD to the masses and help as many people as we can.
Yeah. So where's the store located here in Indianapolis?
Yeah, so the store is located at the intersection of Kessler and Michigan Road. So there's a Starbucks there at the corner.
Yep.
We're on the opposite end of the building of Starbucks. So you got Starbucks, Verizon, Subway, and then we're
Across
right
the
there
street
on the
is over there is Walmart
Uh-huh.
and McDonald's and all that stuff too.
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. Kessler's the intersection,
Yep,
right?
Kessler and Michigan.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Well, man. I know a lot of people may, have heard some things about CBD and the myths that come with that. Won't you educate the people, our audience, right now? I think we have over 20,000 people that are listening weekly to the show, man. So take your time and let's educate some of
Yeah.
our listeners on the benefit of CBD, number one. Number two, dispel some of the myths that
Yeah.
is going on out here too. And then why should they do business with you?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, first of all, I love to talk about this stuff. I love educating because with me being in the field, I've absorbed a lot of information, and I kind of take for granted how others coming into the store really just have either no information or very little information. So it's fun for me to be able to talk to people and educate them. So in 2018, President Trump signed the Farm Bill, which made hemp legal.
Yeah.
So that's what has really brought CBD to the market is the Farm Bill. So it made hemp legal, therefore making hemp derivatives like CBD legal as well. So if I say the word cannabis, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
We're gonna think THC, marijuana.
Or you're gonna think marijuana, right?
Correct.
So to break this down for you, if you think about the word cannabis equaling human, right?
Yep.
Then marijuana maybe would be like a male, and then maybe hemp would be like a female. So
correct.
both human, but genetically different.
Correct.
So, but everybody
Chromosomes
thinks,
and all that.
yeah,
other stuff that comes with that.
everybody thinks, marijuana when they hear cannabis.
Right.
Nobody really thinks of hemp.
Right.
So,
Well, hemp is first, right? Because hemp is what carries the seed, right? Or marijuana, THC carries the seed.
So in the genetics are different, right? So in marijuana, the genetics are grown to have a higher concentration of THC. Hemp is specifically grown with a genetic composition that has a higher grade of CBD, high percentage of CBD,
Mhm.
and actually to be legal, the product or the plants have to be less than I think it's 0.1 or 0.3%. I know that dry products like CBD products to be legal cannot have more than 0.3% THC.
0.3% here in Indiana.
It really, that's kind of the standard
The
across
standard
the country.
across the country. Okay.
Yeah. Now in states that have medical marijuana laws, like maybe Denver, you may be able to have higher
Mhm.
percentages of THC in the products. But that's only a third of 1%. So, it's not enough. It is enough to potentially fail a drug test for some people. So that's something to be mindful of,
Mhm.
but it's not enough to create a intoxicating, impaired kind of feeling or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's more like a relaxing type of feeling, something like a stress reducer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Does it help with chronic diseases or anything?
Yeah. So
illnesses like that?
yeah. So obviously we can't make any medical claims or anything like that, but the number of things that we see customers coming in for range from stress and anxiety to body aches and pains, basically from head to toe. So to be on this platform is cool because I know this is faith based. So obviously I believe in a creator as well.
Yes, sir.
And our body has an endocannabinoid system, right? So our body is designed to heal itself, to regulate itself. Now, obviously, we introduce all these barriers to the body's ability to do that, right? So whether it's alcohol, smoking, eating bad, getting older, pollution, all these variables that make the body's job more difficult. So CBD kind of helps bring that back into alignment so that the body can perform optimally. So you have, so CBD is a cannabinoid. It's one of hundreds of cannabinoids found in the plant. Obviously, the most common cannabinoid is THC, but now CBD and some of these other cannabinoids, people are becoming more familiar with them. So you got an endocannabinoid system in your body, and you got these cannabinoids found in nature. I don't
Okay.
find that to be coincidental.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah.
So you introduce those back into the body, and all of a sudden, good things start happening.
So
how many different varieties of CBD oil? Because you go in there and there's like, man, where do I start?
Yeah, exactly. And see, that's the thing, right? So one of the first things I learned from working in the store, and I'm glad I had opportunity to work in the store and see customers on a daily basis. I probably personally have seen over 1,000 customers myself. So I've answered all the questions. I've heard all the feedback and stuff. So one of the first things I learned when people would come in is I'd ask them, have you tried CBD before? Sometimes they'd say yes. I'd say, well, what brand are you taking? They don't know.
Right.
I say, well, how many milligrams are you taking? They don't know.
Right.
So what I really discovered was, before I could become a simple garden CBD advocate, I had to become a CBD advocate.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I knew that if somebody had a bad experience with maybe a cheap, quality CBD product, that they might be at work in the bake room, saying, oh, I tried some CBD. It was a waste of money. It didn't do anything. And the guy over here is planning on stopping by Simple Garden after work.
Yeah.
Maybe now he's not coming.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So I had to, kind of educate on CBD in general first. But yeah, there's a whole lot of varieties of CBDs. I would say the staple of CBD is the tincture, which is just basically a dropper where you take it sublingually under your tongue. It's the kind of the most efficient way to take CBD
because it's going into the bloodstream, right?
Yeah, so there's different delivery methods, and different delivery methods carry different bioavailability rates. So a bioavailability means how much of the medicine that you're taking is actually going to work for you, right?
Wow.
A certain percentage? You mean like a percentage
exactly,
of that?
Exactly.
Wow.
So like I remember when I was young and in the gym working out, I was thinking, look, the more protein I take, the better, right?
Yeah.
And then my dad, being older and wiser, is like, listen, your body can only process so much protein. So if you take more than that, it's waste. It's coming out as waste.
Right.
So with CBD, obviously it's important to get a quality product, but it's also important to take an adequate dose. So what oftentimes happens is people come in and they even bring us what they're taking, and it'll be like some real low dose CBD that's like really watered down with the carrier oil. And it might be a cheap bottle or whatever, but there's also that saying, you get what you pay for, and they're not really seeing results, from that kind of stuff.
So how do you know what's the difference and what's the right dose to take?
So there's a little bit of trial and error. I personally use, and this isn't an exact science because each individual kind of has to dial their self in. But what I usually tell people is take your body weight and cut it in half. And then that's kind of a starting point for milligrams. So I'm 200 pounds. So 100 milligram dose is a good starting point for me. So depending on why I'm taking it, I may dose up or down from there. But that at least gets me in the ballpark. Which you don't want to be.
That's daily or?
Yeah. And it obviously depends. Like, are you taking it for pain? Are you taking it for just like as a sleep aid?
Yeah. So now that's where your expert comes in too, as far when you're interviewing people, talking to people. You have to know why they want to take this.
Yeah, I do. I ask that question. I say, what are you looking to get relief for? And even if it's not sleep related at all, I usually always ask that question because that was my first most profound experience with CBD. Because I was waking up 3 times a night, checking my phone to see what time it was, not getting really good sleep. And the first thing that I noticed, my personal experience, the first week I was on CBD, I slept through the night every single night. Yeah. And then so I was waking up feeling very refreshed. I could tell that I was sleeping a deeper sleep. And I was actually feeling better off of less hours of sleep, which was important for me being a business owner and just being on the move all the time, for me to get, really quality sleep in 5 or 6 hours and to feel better than when I was sleeping for 8 or 9 hours. Right. Pretty significant.
Right. So have you seen any other, I don't want to say side effects, but any things that have improved in your health as well as maybe as far as your stress level, your anxiety, anything like that, any aches and pains?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I've definitely, I was an athlete growing up. So, but now, I'm in my mid 40s. So, I wake up with the, aches and pains like everybody else. And yeah, you definitely can notice a difference. There's a saying in the CBD world, it's not what you feel, it's what you don't feel. And a lot of times people don't realize how much it's helping them until after they've haven't taken it for 2 weeks. And they're like, oh, you know what? Why is my hip hurting? Oh, I haven't taken my CBD in 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's when you'll really notice it, because it's not like, obviously, like with marijuana, for example, you get high, and then there's no denying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you're feeling. But when you're taking CBD, there's not a euphoric effect with that.
Right.
So it's more about, what am I not feeling? And it's just not as profound as like a marijuana high or something like that.
How long were you taking it before you really noticed the difference?
The very first night I took it, I slept through the night. Right? I woke up the next morning, and I told my wife, I was like, that was different.
So you took a full.
I took a full 1 ml dose of it. So typically, you'll have like a dropper, and a good brand should always have a graduated dropper, and that means it's the dropper in itself is marked, so you can actually measure how much you're taking. Right. So like when customers would come in, that'd be one of the first things I'd look for. I'd open up the oil they're taking, and I'm like, if there's not a graduated dropper in here, I'm not even taking this product seriously, because it's like a nickel difference, And I, as a customer, would want to be able to measure what I'm taking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially what because it can impair you or anything like that if you take too much of it.
No, not with CBD. You could drink a whole bottle of CBD, and you might end up with a tummy ache or whatever. But you're never gonna be impaired from it. You know what I'm saying?
You're never gonna overdose on it.
Yeah, no. And you know what's great about it? These are all natural ingredients, right?
Right.
So I'll give you a prime example. One of our employees had elbow surgery. The doctors tried to write him a script for some opioid, pain medications. He didn't even fill his script. All he did was continue taking his oil, and he was vaping CBD as well. So the anti-inflammatory properties are probably the number one aspect of CBD. It's probably one of the number one benefits is anti-inflammatory. And there's studies out that say it's maybe up to 20 times more potent than like Advil and Motrin and stuff like that. So, and you do know, like, people that take like Motrin, like for a long periods of time, end up getting ulcers, and it can be harmful on the organs and stuff like that. Yeah. My own father, who's a 4-decade gym rat, you know what I'm saying? But now he's in his 60s. He's, could put a lot of wear and tear on his elbows and his knees and everything. We actually thought he had a heart attack a few years ago because he gave himself an ulcer from taking so much Motrin, trying to keep his inflammation down. And he got a piece of chicken stuck in the ulcer. And so we thought he was having a heart attack.
Wow.
So, but funny enough, with somebody like my dad, for example, who works out, literally on his lunch break. Like, my dad's worked out 5 days a week for 40 years. It's part of his lifestyle. And he started having a really, really bad bout of tendonitis in his elbows. And he was doing acupuncture, prolotherapy, physical therapy. He was icing, doing massage, all kinds of different types of therapies. And he'd get a little bit of relief. He'd go back to the gym, re-aggravate, rinse and repeat. And after about 18 months, he was starting to, kind of become mentally impacted by it, because he tried all these things. And he told me, he was like, I think I'm going to end up having to have orthoscopic elbow surgery. And he wasn't looking forward to that, because he knew if they went and cut his elbows, it's going to be many months before he's back in the gym. And he's doing all this stuff to just avoid not being able to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And around that time is literally when we were starting the business. And so we gave him a bottle of the CBD oil. And I followed up with him maybe 3 weeks after I gave it to him and asked him, how he was doing. And he was like, I haven't really noticed a difference yet. But me knowing my dad, I had a suspicion he was probably trying to stretch this free bottle that I gave him. So I said, how much are you taking? Right. And he said, half doses. I figured that. Wow. I said, how about we take a whole dose and let's evaluate whether it's going to work for you or not. So we get off the phone. Literally 2 weeks later, I'm driving and I get a text from him, and it said, my elbows are finally starting to feel better, and it alleviated some hip pain I was having. Don't know what else it could be. So I see that and I'm like, ringing endorsement, because my dad is not an easy sell. It don't matter if I'm his son, like, you know what I'm saying? And so he's working out 5 days a week on his lunch break. He's had no elbow surgeries, and he's become an advocate, for us. So now he's sending people from the gym. He's sending people from his job. And it's been great.
I'm gonna tell you what when CBD began in the early stages, when it was hot, when it first came out, I think around the time you was coming out with it, you would see a lot of people that were selling CBD, like affiliates and stuff like that. I don't see a lot of those guys no more.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, there's two things that have happened since we started. So when we first started, opened up the store in 2018, was it 18 or 19? I can't even remember now.
It was 18.
Was it? So CBD was super, super hot and super trendy. And obviously with, like, I think you're referring to like MLM type things like that. There's still a few that are doing it, but for me, and I hate, and they listen, there are some good MLM products, but I think everybody kind of looks at them all a little skeptical in general, and I think it gives some good products a bad name, right?
Yeah.
Just the MLM,
just the
like
MLM system itself. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. But in a lot of ways, I feel like, people are going to question, are you putting more emphasis on finding people to sell CBD, or are you putting more emphasis on making sure you're providing good quality CBD?
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And that's the reason why I think when you're dealing with CBD, I think it's very important and imperative that you're educating people.
Yeah.
And because I know we talked about this when you first opened up, is that I think that's one of the main things that you should be doing.
Yeah.
Is educating. Because I think I ate one of your edibles the other day,
Mhm.
and I think it was 100 milligrams. I think it was a Rice Krispie treat or something. I ate the whole thing and slept like a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't tossing
Yeah.
and turning. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I didn't wake up sluggish. I mean, I really had a great night's sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no buzz or anything like that. It was just like, to the point I realized, I was like, dang, I woke up. I was like, well, it was a Rice Krispie treat. I know it had to be because I toss and turn all night all the time.
So what's the average cost?
So yeah, I mean, it ranges. We've got like tincture oil that probably, I think it starts at maybe $40.
You said that's like the basic oil.
Yeah, it's about 50 milligrams a dose. And so like that bottle's like a 15 ml bottle, so it's like 15 days.
Okay.
So it gives you just enough time to try it out and really evaluate it. And I'll have people like start taking like a whole dose of that, and then maybe even go to like a dose and a half. It gives them enough time in 2 weeks to really like try to dial in kind of like how much they need to be taking. And there's different kinds of oil too. So we've got an isolate, which is just pure CBD. And that's the only cannabinoid present in the CBD oil. So it's just CBD. And then the carrier oil is MCT oil. MCT oil is a derivative of coconut oil. And it's a great healthy fatty oil. There's people that probably go to GNC and buy bottles of MCT oil and supplement with that. But it serves as a very good carrier oil for the CBD. And then you've got broad spectrum, which we don't carry, but I'm just going to run through the three main types. Broad spectrum is THC free, but also has other cannabinoids present. And then full spectrum is exactly what it says. It's full spectrum. So the whole spectrum of cannabinoids may be present. So you're going to have a high concentration of CBD, but you're also going to have CBG, CBN, THC, THCV, and all these different cannabinoids will be present. But again, in order for them to be legal products, they have to be below 0.3% Delta 9 THC.
Gotcha.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How did COVID affect your business?
It wasn't great. Unfortunately, at the top of, what was that, 20, right? Top of 20, we were getting kind of excited because we were starting to really pick up steam.
Mhm.
And we had a big thing with I think Radio One. We were about to start doing a bunch of advertising and all this.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, I pulled the plug on that because I knew when they canceled March Madness, I knew this was real.
Yeah.
And
right.
I'm like, they just canceled a multi-billion dollar,
definitely,
so this is for real.
This is for real, right? But me and you had countless conversations
Yeah.
about what was about to transpire
Yeah.
and what was going on before a lot of this stuff hit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and you were very at the point you were in the beginning very, very concerned about everything. I'm like, man, you tripping, man. Ain't nothing going down and everything just popped up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, so I have a relationship with some people that have connections in China. So where it started from, and he was telling me what was happening there.
Right.
And we were just kind of realizing, and this happened during Chinese New Year, where like there's hundreds of thousands of Chinese people traveling all over. So we kind of expected this was coming, but I still never imagined that it would get to turn into what it did. But yeah, I would say we probably were doing 25% of our monthly sales through COVID, and
online or in person.
Mainly in person. We were really working hard to build the website out and just kind of grow our reach on the website.
Because when you guys labeled as essential, was that the word?
So my personal take on that was my family requires me groceries and all that. So I wasn't letting nobody else tell me whether I was essential or not.
Right. Exactly.
So would CBD all have benefit for those?
What's funny is that there's now some studies coming out where there's some there's some linkage to benefits of like cannabis use and maybe even CBD oil as it relates to because you know they found out later a lot of the issues that people are having were respiratory inflammation, right? Which is I think why there was a lot of controversy around the use of respirators early because it was actually causing damage to the lungs.
When you say respirator,
when they were putting people on respirators.
Got you.
You know
wow.
what I mean? Okay. But yeah, I mean, obviously it would have been a gold mine if we could have came out and said CBD keep you free from COVID. You know what I mean? I'd be on the Forbes list right now.
I know, right?
Well, in a sense, though, because they were saying the healthier your body was, the better you would be able to resist COVID. So if CBD oil has that effect to keep you healthy, you would think it would. It's
definitely helpful. And what's beautiful about CBD is it's mental. It's mental and physical, right?
Right.
So, and I'll give you an example of like the mental, right? So, there's people that think they're depressed. Well, then I don't think they're depressed. They're depressed, right? And they think, maybe my serotonin levels are low, right? I'm gonna go to the doctor, have them check my serotonin levels. You go to the doctor, you're really anticipating hearing that your serotonin levels are low, so you have an explanation for why you're feeling the way you do. They come back normal, and you're like, so what's wrong with me? Well, it could be as simple as the brain having trouble attaching to the serotonin properly, right? So you start taking CBD, it acts as a bridge. Next thing you know, the brain and the serotonin levels are functioning more proficiently, and you're starting to feel better. Nothing's really changed, you know. I mean, all the things that you're upset about, frustrated about, that hasn't changed, but you feel better, right? And that boils down to this, like how your body's designed. You know what I mean? It's not like CBD is the magic. The body is the magic. The CBD is just helping the body do what it's already designed to do. Right. That's the difference. That's where you don't want people to think like it's CBD is the magic pill. No, your body, your creator created a perfect body and a perfect system.
Right.
We just throw all these variables at it that make the body's job more difficult.
That's the reason why you put the healing in the plant.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus manufacturing.
Absolutely.
I got a question pertaining to health and weight, but I think we're up on a break. And I want to pose that question when we come back after the break. You're listening to the BeMEN radio show.
Have you subscribed yet to the free bi-monthly digital interactive Ego magazine? No? Well, head on over to www.egoentertainmentnet.com to subscribe now. This magazine is all about supporting and showcasing excellence in communities everywhere, from music, arts and culture, relationships, education, politics, celebrities, food, and so much more. While you're flipping through the pages, just click on the buttons and social icons and you'll be taken to a whole other world behind the articles and ads. At Ego Entertainment, everyone is a star. There is something in it for everyone. And we hope you are positively impacted by what you see and will continue to support Ego Magazine. Track CBPD by Arulo. If you're tired of hearing the same music and content every 5, 10, or 15 minutes on air, then check out JQLM Radio for the realest, rawest, and most relevant variety of music, talk shows, and more. Start your days with a little bit of gospel and gospel rap from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All of my life, I've never known you to fail. You deliver me. 'Cause all I seem to do is coming and breaking it down with that wiggity style, man. We really be living it out, don't miss it.
Then get into some hot R&B.
What you doing? Excited.
Some hip hop.
Falling in deep with the quicksand. Flag on the fan, oh quick run. I was packing on the pound, got my
time and I heard that
a little bit of pop,
watermelon sugar, strawberries,
and some neo soul for the rest of the day. JQLM Radio, real, raw, and relevant.
Holds my hand.
To the BeMEN radio show. We are having a lot of fun up in here. We're talking about the CBD oil, and we have the man himself, the Mr. CBD oil man, the king. Right before we left for break, I had a question about the CBD oil and pertaining to our health and how it can affect our weight. For those of us who, myself, looking to shed some pounds, would CBD oil be effective in that nature?
So I don't know that there's a direct correlation to like weight loss specifically, but I do know there's a cannabinoid THC V that supposedly has some some properties that can help with like appetite suppression and things like that. I would say the number one benefit of CBD as it would pertain to like weight loss would be we've had some people that have come into the store that like one example that comes to mind. This young lady came in. She was overweight. Her friends had invited her to go on some like hike in like the Colorado mountains or whatever, and she was really worried about it because she can't do physical activity for long periods of time, right? And she was wanting to get her herself in better shape, but obviously it's hard to work out when you're in pain.
Yeah.
So when you're able to kind of mitigate some of that pain, keep the inflammation down, it allows you to be able to push yourself a little bit more.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like drinking an energy drink or a what are those
like a pre-workout stuff.
Pre-workout things, pre and post-workout things. Just just energy.
And we've had people that we've got a couple different little products that people have come in and said that they've taken before they've worked out and things like that. But it's not there's no secret recipe for losing weight fast. You know what I mean? It's a whole
it's a holistic
it's a holistic approach, right?
It's a holistic approach.
Do you have any athletes that come in
yeah, I mean we've had golfers and football players, basketball players come in, kids that are in college doing physical activities, people to just work out and all that. I mean it is really a great anti-inflammatory and that's probably the main feature of it. But yeah, just there's a lot of, I mean, literally, you go on Google and type in "can CBD help with fill in the blank?" Something's probably popping up.
Something's gonna pop up.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question: with the weed smokers, and then you got the CBC users, right? So have you had people that were trying to wing themselves off of marijuana?
Absolutely.
And then kind of switch over to CBD to see if that helps with that urge to
for sure. So I will say this. One of the things that I learned and I didn't realize, so I'm not a myself, I haven't been like a user of marijuana for any, like I wasn't doing it in high school or college. I went into the Air Force right out of high school,
right?
You know what I mean? So but one thing I just kind of assumed naively that everybody that smoked weed was doing it to get high. But I've realized that there's a lot of people smoking weed for many other reasons other than to get high. And so I've learned that, and I've told people, if you're smoking weed for any reason other than to get high, you're smoking it for the CBD. You just don't realize it. So there's a lot of people that are like, I need it, for stress, anxiety, for appetite, maybe they're on medications that suppress their appetite. So they smoke, so they have the desire to eat, because we obviously have to eat.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so there's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I mean, like, so as it pertains to like vaping CBD, for example, right? There's no THC, so they're getting all the medicinal benefit from the CBD without the high, which a lot of people are like, I just dealt with the high because it was helping me with this.
Yeah,
but I don't want the high.
I don't want the high.
So it's, it's good.
Wow.
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 But yeah, I've had a lot of people that have come in and they've started vaping CBD and have stopped smoking cigarettes. Some have stopped smoking marijuana. And I have a personal story I don't want to disclose too much, but a relative of mine that was a 5-year marijuana user, and then we just kind of put a challenge out there to just try vaping the CBD,
to see if
and they went a whole year.
Wow, without smoking marijuana.
Yeah, and then started really giving us good feedback about, like, now that the marijuana is out of my system, I can appreciate what I'm getting from the CBD. So now another thing too is I know a couple years ago we probably all saw on the news there was this whole like media bashing of vaping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people come in the store, we start talking about vaping. You can kind of almost read the body language on some people, like, oh no, you know what I mean? And I try to explain to people that vaping is just a delivery method, no different than a needle, right? So a needle is not inherently good or bad, right? You can inject insulin with a needle or heroin with a needle.
Right.
So it's not the needle.
Depends on how you use it. Yeah.
So the vaping is just a delivery method. I personally look at vaping. Obviously, what you're vaping is what matters. That's the point of the illustration. I grew up with asthma, right? So I look at the vaping of the CBD more like a asthmatic inhaler. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's something that works very quickly. So if like somebody's subject to like social anxiety, right? So like, we're doing fine, it's just us in a small group, but then all of a sudden 10 more people come in the room and now you're not comfortable and you start feeling anxious. You need something that's going to work very quickly to bring you kind of back to your equilibrium. And so like a tincture, for example, that you take sublingually could take 40 minutes to kind of really start kicking in.
Yeah.
Wow, but you can vape and within 2 or 3 minutes start really feeling the effects of it, right? Now,
so
one of the
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was saying one of the changes that we've witnessed within maybe the last year to 18 months is the emergence of Delta 8, right? And that has really kind of stolen the spotlight from CBD.
Because it has a little mixture.
Because there's a recreational component to it, right?
Right. That's a good word.
So we've seen that really take off, in the last year.
I bet. Wow. So what was I going to say? Go ahead, Phil.
I know what you're going to say. So did you grow out of your asthma or did the CBD oil?
No. Yeah, I think I grew out of it. But I kept an inhaler really. Really, when I would have issues, it was around wintertime when, and then because I played basketball. Mm-hmm. And so I would always have it with me. But I would notice like as after graduation from high school, I would need it less and less and less. Okay. But what I do remember is when I was young and I would go to the park to play basketball with my friends, if I realized I did not have my inhaler with me, it would make me anxious.
That's right.
Right.
Because
because I'm what if I need it. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Versus when I knew I had it, I didn't even think about it. And I went and I played hard and I didn't think about it. Mm-hmm. So another friend of mine, I didn't even know was battling, anxiety. And so she was telling me all these things and she had gotten a pin from us. And she said, I thought I lost my credit card and I was having a meltdown. You know what I mean? Then she ended up finding it, but she's already like unraveled.
On 10.
And she said, I went and sat down and I started vaping my pen. And she was like, I couldn't believe how quickly it just kind of brought me back to normal. Right. And I was like, well, what have you been doing before you got that pen? She was like, struggling. Wow. I've been out here struggling. Wow, you know what I mean? Wow. And so I just thought about like now she's walking around doing life with a tool in her purse that she knows if she needs it, it's there. And just the peace of mind that provides is very similar to the peace of mind I had when I knew I had my inhaler.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome, man. So speaking of vape, so you have other, there's other ways to consume CBD right. other than vaping. Yeah. So can you explain some of those?
Okay. So as I was mentioning earlier, different delivery methods are going to have different bioavailability rates, right? So the staple of every CBD brand is the tincture, right? And that's just a sublingual, oil that you take under the tongue. On average, and these are not like perfect, numbers, but like you could expect to maybe absorb 40 to 60% of the oil that way. And then you've got edibles like CBD gummies or other edibles. What I don't love about those in particular is the whole dose is going straight to your digestive system. So it's not as efficient. So you may only be absorbing maybe 10% in that way, right? So as it pertains to CBD, you've got costs, and efficiency to me, which should be important factors, right? And then of course, like vaping. So when you're vaping it, you're inhaling it and it's going right into your bloodstream. When you're taking it sublingually, it's under the tongue. The soft lining under your tongue absorbs a lot of the oil, a lot of the medicine, taking it into your bloodstream. Just the residuals that you swallow are going to go to your digestive system. But when you're eating like a gummy, for example, the whole dose is going straight, to your digestive system. So you may end up needing a much higher dose to compensate for the inefficiency.
Now you guys also have the hemp flower, right? You guys have that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have that available.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, I think in general, there's just a lot of personal experimenting that needs to take place for people to find out, do I respond better to an isolate? Or for example, if you came in and you're like, I'm a Department of Transportation driver, then we were going to say, like, you have to do the isolate because you don't want to have any chance of failing a drug test or anything like that. So you want to have a THC free oil.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot of, just questioning, having conversations with the customers, looking to see what it is they're looking to get relief for, trying to make sure that they walk out the door ultimately with the right product.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's very important. I think the more people that you educate or get the information that they need, I think CBD would definitely skyrocket.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more profitable. I think you'll probably get more traffic to your store. So speaking of that, won't you let the people know how they can get in contact with you?
Well, the website is www.simplegardencbd.com. We talked about the store. The store is located over there at 1950 Kessler Boulevard, West Drive. The phone number to the store is 317-974-7574. And then we can find us at Simple Garden on main social medias like Facebook and Instagram.
So let me ask you this. So our listeners that are listening out of town and abroad and all over, how quickly, what is your turnaround time when it comes to if they order some things online?
Yeah.
How quickly would they get their product?
I would say most orders that are placed before 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time go out the same day. And if not, they're going to go out the next day.
The next day? So about 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
Or whatever.
And then I would say 98% of all the orders go out U.S. Postal Service priority mail. So you're getting 3 days. You're getting your items.
Yeah. So for our listening audience, he's in Indianapolis, Indiana, but you guys can definitely patronize him if you go to his website, and you can actually buy some products there, test them out, and let him know what you think. If you have any other questions when it comes to CBD intake, and you just you want to try it, but you just need a little bit more information, won't you give Chris a call again? Chris, give him your office number.
Yeah, so a direct line to me actually would be if you call the number that's on the website, the 866 number on the website, 9 out of 10 times that's going to get routed back to me as well.
Okay, to yourself. Okay.
Yep. And then we're going to also after the show, we're going to create a discount code for all the listeners. So we'll maybe make it BeMEN 15.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody listening can use that code and go in and save 15%.
Man, that's cool, man. We appreciate
code,
that.
BeMEN 15. Discount code,
BeMEN 15.
Chris,
man.
let me ask you this question.
Yep.
This is more kind of side topic of the topic, but dealing with the entrepreneurial component.
Yeah.
Let me ask you to kind of replay for us what went through your mind in jumping out on this this business, and why this business, and talk about all of the obstacles and why you chose to keep going.
Yeah, but there have been plenty of obstacles. I will say that. It's funny. First of all, I've had an entrepreneur spirit as long as I can remember. I had a paper out in the 4th grade. I've been cutting grass every summer since 5th grade.
Right.
My one of my good friends runs a very successful business that provides hardware for vaping and things like that. He started his business in 2016. He's now operating a multi-$100-million company.
Wow.
He was touring all over the country doing all these different marijuana conventions and things like that. And he was starting to see the CBD brands popping up. And so he was kind of like, encouraging my brother and I, who co-owns Simple Garden with me, to get into it. We have a passion for helping people in general, but one of the main inspirations for us starting this was our own mother. My mother in her early 20s got into a really bad car accident. So she's battled chronic back pain her entire life. And I don't even really know my mom to not be in back pain, and she spent a small fortune, with chiropractic care and massage therapy her whole life. Actually today's her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday.
She's turned 65 today.
Oh, wow.
But she's got rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia. She's got diabetes now. Coincidentally enough, now I'm not making any medical claims here, but my mom was on the oil, and after she got diagnosed with diabetes, her numbers came down very quickly. And whatever medication she was getting, whatever shot she was getting, they told her that they've never taken anybody off of that fast.
Wow.
So that's very encouraging.
So
and my mom waking up multiple times at night due to pain. She sleeps through the night most nights now. So yeah, I mean, listen, my in-laws are taking the product, my mother, my father. Another thing too, when we look at the Simple Garden logo, it really means something to us. So before we put any products out, we make sure that we're using it, that we're testing it out. All the products are lab tested. You know what I mean? And so really, you know, we're not one of those stores where you're going to walk. There's not going to be 50 different CBD products because you don't need 50 CBD products.
Yeah,
you just need a couple that work and work well. Right. So yeah, as far as, I mean, I might as well say Chris Newton CBD on there as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, we really protect the brand and it really matters to us. So we're trying to always make sure we're giving good customer service and just delivering really quality products because we understand that, you know, word of mouth advertising is the best advertisement. You know, I mean, I can run anything on the radio or whatever, but what's going to matter more is somebody at your church, at your job telling you, I'm taking it, my mom's taking it, it's working, it's helping. That's going to carry way more weight.
So let me ask you this then, for a customer that is teeter-tottering to actually try the product, but their mindset is just keeping them in the past, keeping them in the dark, keeping them bound by the legal aspect or the illegal aspect of it.
You know what's funny? What's funny is we saw a lot of customers come in that they just haven't mentally separated CBD from marijuana. You know what I mean? And it's almost like they think they're coming into like, you know, a taboo spot or something. You know what I mean?
Like they're going underground or something.
You know, so it's funny. Like we even to this day, we get online orders and in the notes section, it'll be like, is the packaging discreet or, you know, whatever. It's like, you know, like, first of all, you're worried about your mailman judging.
So do you have long trench coats? Dark sunglasses.
You know, people walking by the store a couple times, make sure nobody's in there, and then slide in real quick.
It's crazy.
You know, but you know what's interesting is one thing that my buddy told me before we started was he was like, when people have suffered enough, they'll start to lower their barriers because they just want to feel better.
We
they
seen
just
that
don't
with
want to hurt.
marijuana. We seen it with, I mean, it's like now, man, it's like I think everybody smokes marijuana now.
Yeah.
It's like that's all I see.
Yeah.
You know, it's all I smell.
Yeah.
And that's all I see. You know what I'm saying? You go into a gas station and you're getting gas or whatever.
Yeah.
The whole line, everybody getting blunts.
Yeah.
You know
right.
It's like as everybody smoke weed.
It is. But you know what? My personal belief on that is you know, that's a plant. You know what I'm saying? And
I get it.
And God made that plant, and there's a lot of therapeutic benefit from that plant. And it's unfortunate that that it's been politicized the way it has been. People have been fear mongered. You know what I mean? Like probably our parents and our grandparents. I mean, and these are some of the politicians that are still in office. I mean, look, they're rhinos. You know what I mean? And they're brainwashed. They really believe that this stuff is bad.
Now, do we have some data back in 1937 or so? I think when I first started getting in educating about CBD, that it actually Eli Lilly was actually selling hemp in the beginning, and then they made it illegal, and then that's when they started making.
I could see that.
I'm not
super,
research on that.
Yeah, I'm not super hip to that, but
yeah, I read that Eli Lilly was actually selling hemp, and then around 1937, 38, around that time.
Yeah,
I'm hoping my numbers are right, but that's when they discontinued it and then made it illegal, and then that's when they started manufacturing.
Yeah, there's definitely
so at one point it was legal.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a sketchy history as it pertains to just marijuana and the governing of marijuana, and you know all that, you know, all the propaganda and all that. But it's an amazing plant, and I'm actually shocked, to be honest with you, that we've made it this far. Because if there's studies that show how the decrease in profits from pharmaceutical companies in states that have medicinal marijuana laws or just the emergence of CBD in general. I mean, look at the guy that works at our store. Prime example. He elected not to go get a prescription filled of opioids to combat his pain, and he's using an all natural product.
All natural
product.
I mean? Yeah. Wow. So with that said, so do you think that there's going to be some resistance, or trying to change the laws or something, try to shut some things down because people are losing money?
No, what I probably really foresee is some of these big pharmaceutical companies, especially once there's even more regulation in place. It's the big pharmaceutical companies will be buying up CBD brands or marijuana farms, marijuana companies, things like that.
If they're not already doing it.
Yeah, they definitely are.
If they're not already doing it.
They definitely are.
Man. So I'm looking at your website here and says, so you have You have you got CBD for pets.
Yep.
You have coffee and tea products. Of course you have the accessories and all that stuff, but let's talk about the CBD for pets.
I'm glad you touched on that. I wasn't even thinking about that. So the lady that runs our bank had an older Labrador, right? Probably within the last 18 months to 2 years of its life. Dog was suffering from a lot of like arthritis and things like that. It was kind of inactive. She really was just trying to keep her dog comfortable for the last, tail end of his life. And so she came in, she got some pet CBD. I was in the bank cashing a check one day, and she came in and walked up to me. She goes, "My husband thinks you're a dog whisperer." And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Man, the dog's like starting to be more active." She was like, the dog wasn't able to jump up on the sofa. Now the dog is jumping up on the sofa. They said, we used to have to pick him up and put him in the car. Now he's jumping in the car. And they were a little bit worried about him because they're so used to him being inactive. They didn't want him to hurt himself. And I'm like, well, he knows how he feels. If he feels capable, he's going to, let him do what he does. And so she was just telling everybody about us. She was so happy. But it was a real joy. Listen, everybody that has a pet knows how much people love their pets. They're like family. And so for her to see her dog, her beloved dog, seemingly enjoying the last little bit of his life more so than when he was just like laying around not wanting to do much, inactive and all that. So she feels like, she's really happy that she was able to offer that to her dog for the last bit of his life. But it's great for some dogs don't travel well. Some pets don't travel well, or they get anxious going to the groomer. I tell a lot of people, especially like new dogs, like young dogs, I'll say, listen, if you go to work and come back and your dog ate the sofa cushion, it's not because it tastes good. He's having anxiety and he's having, separation anxiety.
That's crazy.
So it can kind of just help mellow them out a little bit. You know what I mean? But they have an endocannabinoid system too. So
they have their own product though. Is it labeled?
So yeah. Now you can give pets, human CBD. But the products that we have, one of them is the carrier oil is wild Alaskan salmon oil. So it really smells like salmon, and it has all the benefits of the wild Alaskan salmon oil and the CBD. And then we've got another one that's basically bacon flavored, and that's just a terpene profile that makes it smell and taste like bacon. But the wild Alaskan salmon oil, that's like legit wild Alaskan salmon oil with the CBD. So that's a great pet product.
Wow, man. You're giving us some great information, man. And before we end this segment, I wanted to touch on the benefits of men, because right now we know that a lot of us are dealing with our emotional state. A lot of us are unbalanced when it comes to our mental and emotional health. So do you recommend, or let's talk about how we can help men who may be struggling with their emotional health or their mental health, and don't want to go down that road again. I think you don't want to go down that road again of maybe doing anything illegal, or maybe even smoking marijuana. They want to get out, they want to change their life for whatever reason that may look. Let's briefly, because I know we've been talking about that, through the whole segment. But let's kind of like shift and let's talk directly to men on how we can actually help them, bring a balance to their emotional state, and how CBDC can help with that.
Yeah. So, I'll just kind of like speak from my own personal experience a little bit here. To touch on what you were asking earlier, the stresses that come with being a business owner, you know what I mean? Not knowing what you don't know, learning and realizing you made mistakes that cost real money. So, I personally carry a big burden, a big stress. And I think just in general, and listen, everybody's got their thing, you know what I mean? So we're all feeling stretched thin. There's so much going on in the world. We get so used to carrying these heavy burdens that we get immune to it. You know what I mean? And our pain and our discomfort and all that almost starts to become part of our identities. You know what I mean? It's like I talk to a lot of people that I'm not sure that they even want to be helped. You know what I mean? Because they're so used to, I have these ailments, and it literally becomes part of their identities. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But as it pertains to men, we need to be of good, sober mind. We need to, we need to be moving around with a certain level of confidence. And we want to be feeling good. When you feel good, you look good, you play good.
Yes,
all
sir.
That kind of thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If it helps mitigate your stress level, if it's helping you get better sleep at night, like these are domino effects, right? So if I didn't sleep well at night, then I had a rough day at work, then I come home. Now I'm short with my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm frustrated with my child.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm not giving them what they deserve from me.
Not thinking correctly. I don't even think you can actually be able to think creatively.
Yeah,
You know,
oh,
be in a
for
position
sure,
where you
for
can
sure.
actually even be
Oh,
creative.
listen, if you're stressed and you're
Yeah.
anxious, like it's gonna kill your creative
Right.
juices.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
definitely.
So I find that to be completely related. You know what I mean? So like I think if we're trying to eat better, you know, we're doing some physical activity, getting our endorphins moving, getting our blood flowing, we're taking some CBD. You know, CBD is just one part of a health and wellness program.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir. Yes, sir.
So you're not gonna achieve all your health and wellness goals just by taking CBD.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, man, well, Chris, man, we appreciate you being here today. Man, you gave us some great information, man. You're very, very knowledgeable about what you're doing. I can also tell how passionate you are about it too, man.
Yeah.
So we thank you a lot. So if you're in the Indianapolis area, you can go to Simple Garden CBD. The address is 1950 Kessler Boulevard, and that's in Suite D in Indianapolis, Indiana, 46228. You can also do online orders, and they can do that at support. They can go to the website.
Yep.
And actually,
SimpleGardenCBD.com.
Yep, simplegardenscbd.com,
Yep.
and actually order that way. But if you're locally here in Indianapolis, once you go over there off of Kessler Boulevard, off of Michigan and Kessler, and go check him out. He has a great staff. I go in there all the time. Matter of fact, I was just in there a few minutes ago.
What's your
You know what
hours?
I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So we just amended the hours a little bit, which is kind of dialing it in. But we are 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and then 12 to 5 on Sunday.
Great.
Yep.
Well, guys, we thank you for the segment. Thanks once again, Chris. Thanks for coming in, man. We really appreciate you. We will have you in. Hopefully, we can get you in as a sponsor. We can get some of your ads running on the show as well, so we can bring more attention to what you're doing. But we will bring you back on sooner than later to talk about this a little bit more in a little bit more great detail. Okay.
Absolutely.
So right now we're about to go to a break. You're listening to the BeMEN radio show.
Join the JQLM radio family today. Syndicate your show or come host and produce your own show on air, live, or pre-recorded from anywhere in the world. That's not all. JQLM Radio also distributes your episodes to all major podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and more. Come join this full service and support platform. Get help with sponsorships, built from our current listeners from all over the world in 45 countries and growing. Gain access to promotional materials and let JQLM Radio promote you too. And be a part of our live media coverage team that covers events and hosts red carpet activities with celebrities and more. For more information or to join now, visit www.egoentertainmentnet.com or email us at jqlmradio@gmail.com. JQLM Radio, real voices, raw entertainment, and relevant topics. Track, Funk by Arulo. Hey, it's your girl, Lady J, and this is a special public service announcement. The Gallery Event Center of Indianapolis, Indiana is now an official partner. If you are a client of mine and you are in need of a venue to book your next event, then book with the Gallery Event Center today, who offers all-inclusive packages at extremely affordable prices. But wait, there's more. You are able to book custom all-inclusive packages that have been tailored exclusively for Lady J's clients. And yes, that includes the Ego Entertainment Network clients too. Connect with me today at ladyj.co to receive your promo code and visit the Gallery Event Center located at 5852 East 82nd Street or call 317-534-6399 and visit their website at thegalleryeventcenter.com. This has been a special public service announcement by Lady J. Love y'all. Deuces. Are you in need of a fresh perspective on relationships, wholeness, love, and transformation? Or are feeling consumed with hurts from the past and finding it difficult to overcome traumatic events? Well, contact licensed marriage and family therapist Sharon Mason of Love That Relationship. She can get you back on the road to building a healthy and loving relationship with yourself and others. Love That Relationship. If you are an entrepreneur, podcaster, radio host, cinematographer, or photographer and are in need of a space to work, the Ego Center is for you. A fully equipped radio podcast studio, photography and film studio, workstation, and small conference area are available for booking. Visit egoentertainmentnet.com to take a virtual tour, book, or join a membership program today.
Welcome to the BeMEN Incorporated Radio Show. You're listening to faith, family, and fitness. Those are the things that we talk about here at BeMEN. And right now, I'm with my co-host. His name is Philip Moore. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, you know me. I'm going to call it bless.
Don't call it bless. Man, we just had a great show, man, our first hour with Chris Newton, man, from Simple Gardens CBD. He gave us some great information on our health and wellness segment. And he went in great detail about CBD, man. And it was a great information, man, especially when it came with the inflammation and all that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
that was good information. So I'm glad he stopped by.
Yeah, I'm at to swing by and give me one of them pens.
Man, they work, man. That's CBD, man. It's cool, man. I mean, it will relax you. It's kind of, to me with the vape, it's a little harsh. You know what I'm saying, going down. But other than that, it's cool, okay. But I don't.
So you tried the vape before?
Yeah, I definitely have tried it because I was trying to control my anxiety, trying to control.
Did it do anything with your asthma?
No, I didn't. It didn't affect my breathing or nothing.
Did it help it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it helped it or not. I ain't paying attention to that point because I still got my other tools in my belt if I need it.
Puff.
Yeah. But I have noticed that. I guess I am noticing that my inflammation is not as heavy.
How long you been taking it?
For the last 3 days.
Oh, you had it been on for 3 days?
Yeah, just for the last 3 days. Yeah, so it's working.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Your puff is going down?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. Yeah,
okay,
a little bit.
I'm gonna swing by there, man. Give me one of them pens.
Yeah, check it out, man. It's good, man. It's good. So with BeMEN, man. So I know everybody's wondering, with BeMEN, what's the purpose and mission of BeMEN, and why do we advocate for men? In 2015, some people know my story, but a lot of people don't. 2015, I actually went into total respiratory failure, and I coded twice on my way to St. Vincent Hospital in Indianapolis, Indiana. The first time I was gone 1 minute and 10 seconds. They revived me, and then the second time it was 1 minute and 23. I was in a coma for 8 days. During that whole ordeal, and my heart stopped 8 times while I was in a comatose state.
Wow.
Yeah. So of course, we give God the praise and the glory for allowing me to be here today.
Yeah.
But it was touch and go for me, and but one of those things that when I woke up out of the coma, God gave me a mandate. He started talking to me and giving me assignments. He was showing me my life and telling me the direction of my life, some of the things that I did wrong. You know what I'm saying, and he was also telling me that I was justified in my anger. I was justified in my hurt and my pain. Everything that I was dealing with at that time, I was justified in how I was feeling. But
before you went into a coma? When you came out?
After. Okay. Yeah, that's when he was talking to me, because when I woke up on the 8th day, I was in a hospital total of 12 days.
Okay.
So there was 4 days in between when I woke up and when I was released. And during those 4 days, that's when he was downloading everything to me. I don't even think I went back to sleep when I actually woke up to the coma until I went home, and I actually was able to sleep in my own bed for the first time when I came out of the hospital. But during that time, he was just downloading so much information to me because I was struggling with my spirituality, even though at the time I was an ordained minister. I was active in my church as a leader when it came to that. The aspect of my ministry, newly married at the time, not really newly married, but just kind of like fresh in the marriage, kids, trying to run business and stuff. It was just really hard on me. Right. And I was, having difficulties connecting with people. It seemed like everywhere I went, it was almost like a fight.
So come out of a coma, and God's downloading you information.
He's downloading information.
So he's downloading information to you pertaining to BeMEN.
He's telling me first, before he gives me BeMEN, he's telling me, showing me my life. He's showing me some of the mistakes I've made. He's also showing me that, that I've been here all this time because at the time I was 47 years old. And he was telling me that I was here all this time with my arms wide open, just ready for you to receive my love. And I think he was telling me all this time is that I've been putting my trust in people, my value in people. I was putting everything in people. And he was telling me, no, I've been here waiting for you all this time. So after he told me all that, he gave me an assignment, and he said that I want you to go out and minister to men. And when he told me that, I'm still in the hospital. And when he told me that, I said, God, you're giving me a hard task.
You're feeling like Jonah.
You giving me a hard task, man, because men don't like other men telling them what to do. And it ain't about me telling you what to do. It's just, giving you my experiences, and my hope of what God is, able to bring me out of, right? And how we should live and conduct ourselves as men. You know what I'm saying?
So how long ago was that?
That was in 2015.
So from 2015, you get the download, you get the assignment. So after you receive the assignment, what
after I received the assignment, I said yes immediately.
Okay.
I said yes immediately because I was so overwhelmed that God wanted to use me in such a manner, but I was also so overwhelmed because he saved my life. I really didn't even understand the severity of my illness or what I was going through until I woke up, because I immediately went in a coma. So I had to depend on information being relied to me, right? Mm-hmm. So my wife at the time, she took a journal, so she journaled every day, and was step-by-step details of what was going on with me each day. Okay. And so that's how we were able to actually conduct and write a book on the ordeal as well that has not came out yet, but we're still trying to process and get that out. But then that's when I accepted the role of BeMEN. When God gave me the assignment, he showed me the ending. And he showed me was men prostrated.
Isn't that funny about God? Isn't that funny? God will show you. He will give you an assignment. He'll show you the promise, but very, very seldom will he show you the process to the promise.
He can't show me the process, because if he showed me the process, I wouldn't do it.
But
I wouldn't do it.
20, right? I get you. I'm with you. I don't know anybody that would accept the assignment, but from 2015, we're in 2022, the process. So from 2015 to now,
7-year process.
7-year process. Do you feel like talking about what that was like? You want to help somebody?
I mean, that process is crazy, man, because like I said yes immediately, even though I challenged him on the call. It's like, man, I said, I'm cool with this. I'm cool with it because I haven't always operated as a man, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's some people that was, say, well, who are you to do BeMEN? Who called you to that? Mm-hmm. You ain't always been no man. You ain't always operated as a man. And so that was one of my fears too, because I know I had failed as a man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I also know that I had the desire to be a man.
Right.
You feel me? So I didn't have any reservations when he gave me the word and told me to go out and help bring this and make disciples of men. My worry is that who's going to challenge me on this call, and then who's going to challenge me on the call, and then who I have to go out after. Mm-hmm. Those were my two main factors. But other than that, I was all in because I was just excited that God actually wanted to use me in this magnitude. So he changed the direction of my life so much so is that I just went all in. But I'm going to tell you, during that process, man, and I'm going to tell a man right now that is wanting to say yes to God and probably has already said yes to God. But before you launch out, please count the cost, because those are some of the things that I did not do when I said yes. I didn't count the cost. I didn't ask him, okay, so what is this going to detail? You know what I'm saying? What do I have to go through? What am I going to have to lose?
But you don't want to know that, though. You don't want to know the process.
I didn't want to know the process, but at the same time, I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Right.
I had no clue of what I was getting into.
I don't think when we accept the assignment, we don't have a clue of what we're going to get into. I mean, the Bible gives us plenty of examples of people accepting the call and being called by God, and we know that God doesn't call qualified people. He qualifies the ones that he calls, which oftentimes makes the assignment seem so tough. And that poses the question, because he doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the ones he calls. We're thinking, okay, who's going to honor, who's going to believe, who's going to accept the fact
that I'm called, because Christ, there are people in this city that think that they have the authority to endorse you.
Right.
That you have to go through their portal, that you have to go through their gate.
Right.
In order for you to operate in the call that God has called you to do. And it's ridiculous, man. Some people will dismiss the call on your life simply because they didn't confirm it or you didn't go through them.
Right.
And that's one of the challenges, or a lot of the challenges that I had to face too, when it comes to some of the leaders in this city. It's just to, people just accepting that God indeed did call me.
So where is BeMEN now? Where's BeMEN now, and where can we expect BeMEN to go?
That's a great question, because right now BeMEN started in 2016. We were formed in 2016. During that time, we published a book. We have BeMEN Publishing. Mm-hmm. Now let me go back to the story real quick, because when God showed me, when he gave me the vision, all he showed me was men at the altar. Okay. Prostrate at the altar, crying out. That's what he showed me. So I already knew that I had to be in some type of healing and deliverance, or some type of service where we were actually teaching and preaching the word of God, but also healing and delivering men as well, right? So that's what he showed me. But then the byproducts of all that is basically BeMEN Publishing, BeMEN TV, BeMEN Apparel, BeMEN Ministries as well, So all that was birthed after that. So we published a book back in 2016 called Transform: Powerful Stories of 7 Men Changed by the Hand of God. So we got 7 guys in this book that are giving you their account, giving you their testimony on how God transformed their life. We're dealing with, and all these guys are called to the ministry as well. Some are pastors, some are bishops, elders, or whatever like that. We got a lot of these guys are actually entrepreneurs, business owners. And so a lot of these guys have been through a lot of their lives. You're dealing with addictions, you're dealing with divorces, that God actually restored a marriage that was actually divorced. They were divorced, and actually God restored the marriage, but not only restored the marriage, but they're actually operating in ministry right now together as pastor and first lady.
How did these 6 men, because I'm assuming you're the 7th.
No, I'm not the 7th. I was the managing editor on the book, because me and my wife had already wrote some books, and I didn't want to come in at the time. I didn't want it to be all about me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he has the call, but part of the call is to also build a platform for men to help them get their messages of hope and inspiration out too. So I didn't want this first project to be about me, because I had already had the tension on me in the beginning, and I didn't want it on me. I really wanted to focus on the guys and get their stories out.
So how did God bring the guys to you? Did you know them beforehand?
Yeah, I knew every person in the book except for one, and we met him. God told me to bring him in the book as well. But I knew all 7 guys. I actually had a relationship with each guy.
Was there anything that came out in their stories that kind of gave you a wow factor?
Yeah, it was a lot of them. I mean, you got one story. I mean, Ray Tolbert used to play for Indiana University in '81, won the championship. Then he played for the Lakers, played some other teams, but he won a championship in '88. His story is amazing in itself. He's actually the first chapter in the book. Okay. His story is amazing, man. He has a testimony in there where he when he went to the Lakers, he was like actually at the latter part of his career, and he
want to tell the story. Or you want to get the book?
Well, they get the book. They could get the book. Okay. Yeah, they could get the book. But he's got a huge testimony of when AC Green was on the Lakers at the time.
Okay.
And AC Green, we all know about AC Green. AC Green was a virgin at the time in the NBA. And so AC Green ministered to him while he was on that team, and actually changed his whole life around. And now Ray Tolbert is actually a bishop. He's a pastor at a church here in Anderson, Indiana. And he's actually coming out with his book as well, his life story about from poverty to prosperity.
Okay.
That's going to be his book that's coming out as well. It tells his whole account from when he was in high school in Anderson, Indiana, growing up poor, people making fun of him. He grew up with low self-esteem because they were poor,
Right.
and he didn't have a lot of clothes, basketball, all he had. And then some of the trials and tribulations that he even did during his high school and college basketball career is crazy in itself, because I used to watch him when he played for IU, and I would have never had assumed or even thought that he had went some of the things that he had went through, doing that. So it's just amazing, man. You guys will be very touched and amazed about some of the stories that are portrayed in this book, that God has truly transformed the lives of men. And that's one of the things that we wanted to do too, because I believed in 2018, I believe that there was a narrative floating around in the air, in the atmosphere, to really kill men off, right? During that time, men, a lot of high value, high profile men, especially in these media outlets, were being exposed for their, for misbehaving in the workplace, so to speak, right? And so we were seeing, you giving me, once again, I'm watching all this unfold because I said yes to an assignment in a season that is not favorable for men.
Right.
Because right now, we're in a season right now that men are not favored to be restored. People don't care about men being restored right now. It's all about women. And we are with the empowerment, empowerment of women. And we are for women. We're advocates for women.
Right.
We are going to be helping raise funds for organizations that are ran by women. So we're for women. You know what I'm saying? But I also knew that he was giving me an assignment in a tough season, because there was a transitioning happening, a shift happening. And when he said, yes, now women are being more empowered, women are being more independent, women are being more exposed in great areas, right? So men now being overlooked. Men are being overlooked. So what we have to do now is keep pushing the narrative that God is doing a new thing in men, right? He's changing the narrative, and he's looking for men to be leaders in their homes, their communities, their local churches, their businesses, and their careers, but also live a life. This is the key. But live a life that is pleasing to him. We have men that are great leaders in their communities, their homes. They're great providers. They are excellent leaders in their communities and all that. But, they're not living a life that is pleasing to God. And so in order for us to catch up with our women, right? Let's catch up with them, men. Let's catch up with them, and let's put ourselves in position where we can be providers, and we can secure a home front for our family that they probably wish that they had, or that they're longing for, right? But it's time for men to get back in the rightful place with God. And that's really the mission of BeMEN. Of course, we got the books and all that other stuff that come with that, but the main focus is discipleship.
Right.
And to bring men back into their rightful place, but do it in a way that is pleasing to God. Because if we're pleasing to God, then our families are going to go right up. They're going to line right up in place.
Right. So as a man, I'm listening to this. How I come and I get connected with BeMEN. What can I expect? How can BeMEN help me become a better man to raise to the level that you talk about?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Because one of the things that we want to do, like I said, we're dealing with men that have a message of hope, that feel like they've been called to minister to other men, to speak and teach and preach and maybe write books and all that. But one of the things before we do that, because that's what I did, right? When he called me, I didn't get healed first. I jumped right in. So now I'm in a process where I'm actually, as I'm walking, I'm healing, right? You know what I'm saying? But what I'm recommending for men now, especially a man who has decided to turn his life around and is committed to being a change and being an advocate and being a man and actually doing everything he needs to do, but also knows that God is calling him to something. I want to talk to that man. That's the man I want to talk to. I want to get with that man, and I want to put him on some type of 90-day coaching program, right? And then that program is going to be designed to get him ready for the platform that he believes that God has put him on. Yeah. And we do that in a three module set 90-day program, and we talk about what some of the things that we talk about. First of all, the course name is going to be a Man First.
Be a man first.
And that's to do what other men refuse to do. See, we have a lot of men out here that are blatantly refusing to heal, to be delivered, and to be set free. They're comfortable in their sin. They're comfortable with living a hellish life. They're comfortable with all the world temptations that are out here. They're comfortable with that. So there are a lot of men out here that want to change, want to be better, but they're not putting in the work. So what we want to do is get with men that have made a decision to live their lives pleasing to God, but also feel like they have a message in their mouth. Let's get together. Let's talk about a 90-day program that we can help you reset, refocus, and reflect on your life. Right. Also talk about how we can understanding your process, because one of the things we talk about is that you need to know during your process, you need to know who your enemy is, because believe it or not, you have one. Right. And he's fighting against your process. So as you're preparing yourself to help other men heal, you need to know who you're fighting against and who's fighting against you. We also talk about getting to know Jesus as well. And how does that look like for you as a man? You know what I'm saying? You know, what does that look like to you, serving God and committing yourself to God and surrendering to a God, to Jesus, who has died on the cross and died for your sins? You know what I'm saying?
What are you going to do with, a lot of people, especially with social media, a lot of people are now, they may identify with God or a higher power, but they may not necessarily identify with Jesus. How do you deal with that particular issue?
Well, BeMEN, we serve Christ. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
so I'm not here to defunk or offend or anybody as far as their beliefs, but I believe anyone
So you will help
that is coming to BeMEN would already know what our mission objective is.
Okay.
And that's to lead men and change the narrative and to live a life that is pleasing to God, the only God.
Okay. So you, man, said, hey, man, I hear the faith, family, finance, and fitness. I just want the family, finance, and fitness. Can I just get that side of it?
No, we need the faith, man. Your faith is the component. Your faith is the steering wheel to this whole thing, man. You can't do nothing without your faith. And that's one of the things that we definitely want to inject into men is faith. You know what I'm saying? We can't do that. You can't even get on the stage and speak to the thousands of men that you want to lead to Christ if your faith is not intact. So that's no, we can't.
Does my faith have to be your faith?
No, your faith is your faith. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to convert anybody or to change anybody's beliefs. What I'm here to is to direct people and show them what worked for me. Okay. Based off my experience. I can only teach you based off of my experiences, some of the things that I've went through and what God has allowed me to come out of, based off of the revelation that he's given me through my process. Because all of us have all of our processes are different, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's not a cookie cutter template type of program, a 90-day program that we're putting together. But we're going to take the time to actually sit down and talk to every man that wants to come in and actually change their life. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk to them, and then we're going to put a plan of action together based on their unique process.
Right. So are there any programs that you have going now, or you got any coming up?
We have some programs coming up right now. We're looking for authors as well. We're looking to do another collaboration. We're also looking for authors, individuals as well who may want to put a project out, put a book out, want to tell their story. Yeah, we have that. We're looking for ambassadors for BeMEN Apparel to help get our brand out there as well. We have life coaching programs as well. We're going to have business entrepreneur programs as well.
Right.
We're also in a position of philanthropy, that we're going to be raising funds for non-for-profit organizations, especially our community-based non-for-profit organizations, but our non-for-profit organizations are urban non-for-profit organizations as well, that grassroots organizations that are having a hard time, who may have a low donor base. One of the things that we're going to do with non-for-profits is bring more awareness to their mission and to their objective. I believe a lot of non-for-profits, especially in our communities, are suffering due to the lack of awareness. So one of the things we want to do is bring awareness to these organizations, these grassroots organizations that are bringing that are trying to help our communities.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Well, man, I'm excited to be a part of this, and man, I'm just thanking God, man, because I kind of know the challenges that have been before us, before you. We prayed early in the morning, we prayed through the midnight, through the days, and to see it now actually taking wings and to see it take off. And I kind of got a forecast of what's to come. So that's really, really exciting. I just got one question.
Yes, sir.
What keeps you going? Out of all of the challenges, out of all of the setbacks and out of the things that maybe didn't go like you thought they would have gone or should have gone, days where you could have thrown in the towel, what kept you going? Why are we here? Out of all of that I personally know that has happened,
why am I still here?
Why are we here today?
Man, nobody's ever asked me that, but simply put, man, I trust God. And I know that sounds cliche, but you have to trust the God. You have to trust him to bear the cost and the grind, the grit and the grind that comes with this thing called ministry. You gotta respect and love a God that can save your life, that can bring you up from the hands of death, right? Because he could have let me die. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time I don't even think I was in good standing. I don't even think I was. It wasn't that I was out here being foul or nothing like that. Right. It's just that my spirit was so disrupted, and my mind, my thought process, I just didn't have any hope. I could pray for you, but I couldn't pray for me. See, I believe God for you, right? But I couldn't believe him for me because how severely and how long he's allowed me to suffer. You know what I'm saying? And so there were some times where I was just confused and frustrated and disappointed and didn't know why my life was turning out the way that it was turning out. And then here comes this kill shot that I didn't see coming. You know what I'm saying? Because during that day, I believe it's in September, it was hot that day. It was during Circle City Classic. We were looking forward to going to the Circle City Classic as a family. I'm dealing with my asthma. My asthma was at an all-time high at that time, and so I'm going through inhalers and breathing treatments like it ain't nothing. You know, I'm just going through them like, I mean, I think they say sometimes your inhaler should last 30 to 45 days. Mine will be gone in a week. That's how bad my asthma was, man. And so for him, and then his enemy gives me this kill shot and takes me out of nowhere. And then for God graciously enough to not allow me to die. You know what I'm saying? I can't stop. You know, even though I've made mistakes during this process, I've made some major mistakes during this process. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that still does not deter my faith in God and what I know that he spoke to me. And that's what I mean about counting the cost. Because like I said, if I would have known I was going to go through some of this stuff that I've been through, I'm like, no, dude, you got to get somebody else. Yeah. You got to get somebody else.
So even knowing what you've been through, knowing that you're still on your journey, you're not at your destination.
Not at all.
Knowing what you've been through and knowing that you still got some ways to go, knowing that there are yet battles ahead, you still remain in the fight.
I still remain in the fight because like Peter said, where else I gonna go? Where am I gonna go? Who else can I turn to? I ain't got nowhere else to go.
You got nowhere else.
I ain't got nowhere else to go.
Officer and a gentleman, right?
I ain't got nowhere else to go. Peter said that. He said, where else we gonna go? I ain't got nothing else to do.
Right.
I'm done.
So how do you deal with the because we all have them and we all hear them, even though we may ignore them. How you deal with the haters, the ones that just straight up come up against you?
Man, that's been a long, that's been a long process to me because I love people. I'm a a people person, and I love hard. You know what I'm saying? I love hard, and I'm very loyal. I think I'm loyal to a default, and that has hurt me. And but how I deal with the haters, man, is keep my eyes on Christ.
Right.
Believe what He says about me. Believe and to know that He knew me before He even allowed me to enter into my mom's womb. You know what I'm saying? That He already knew the mistakes that I was going to make. He already knew the direction that I was going to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as I was making those decisions, as I was making those wrong turns, God was always in my heart. He was always at the front of my mind. You know what I'm saying? I've always been mindful of Him. You know what I'm saying? My process ain't perfect, man. And anybody that knows me, bring my name up, can tell you his process ain't been perfect. But I love God with all my heart, with all my mind, soul, and spirit. And there's some days better than others when it comes to my faith. But I'm riding or dying.
Yeah,
I ain't got no choice.
Yeah, there's something to knowing when you really come in contact with the presence of God, and you can see the hand of God on your life, and you can see where uh, you made a wrong turn, you messed up, and then you see the
grace of God
and mercy of God.
Yes, sir.
Come in and just get you through a situation. When you truly experience that, man, there is no turn back.
There is no turn back. There's no turn back. And then also too, if you are a person that has truly, truly, truly experienced the grace of God, there is no way that you can even turn your back on another brother or sister that is hurting or may even be making the same mistakes or making other mistakes. There is no way. Anybody that can sit around and judge a person's process, that tells me that you have not experienced the grace of God. You have not experienced the grace of God, because at the end of the day, man, see, this world has tricked us. See, the world tells us that we're in control. The world tells us that we're in control of our destinies. We're in control of our journey, our path. We're in control of how much money we can make. We're in control of the network. We're in control of nothing, man. We're in control of nothing. I bet if you talk to Regina King right now, she could tell you that she has no control over nothing. Do you think that woman was going to lose her son like that? Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, that's just one example. We have no control. 2020, the last 2 years, should tell us we don't have no control over anything. So if I'm sitting back judging your process, something's wrong with me.
Yeah, especially if you've been in that space, man, where you loved hard, you've cared for a lot of people, and then when your life gets turned upside down and it's silence and it seems to be like there's nobody out of all the people that you help, out of all the people that you serve in the church, outside the church, and when your life gets turned upside down and there's nobody there but God, and you go through that experience, you can't help but extend grace and mercy when you see somebody else that's been through that or that's going through that, or with the guys I deal with, man, down there on Clifton in the hood. I got to take whoever comes through that door.
Yeah.
No matter how they treat me or disrespect, I got to extend grace and mercy to love that person, because really he's not healthy.
No, he's not healthy at all.
I got to extend grace and mercy. And what helps me do that is knowing, man, when I hit rock bottom, God was there for me.
Yeah. Did I have, what do you say? My Redeemer lives, man.
Yeah.
My Redeemer lives. Somebody wrote this. I was in a class last night, and this was one of the things that was said. It says here, your purpose is your pain wrapped in redemption on a mission. Your purpose is your pain wrapped in redemption on a mission. Redemption comes with partnership and opportunity. See, when God redeems us, those are the two things, or the two promises that that's gonna come with the redemption. Partnership and opportunity. So my partnership is with Him, because I submit my will and my way to Him. Now I've submitted and say, you know what? I'm going to partner with you so that your will on the earth can come to pass. So that's my partnership. But then the opportunities that also come with that partnership. That's the work, bro. That's the mission. That's the mission. So I can't be a person that's afraid to be transparent. I can't be a person that's afraid to even share my story. I can't even be a person to even be afraid to even make a mistake. I can't even be a person that walks around with his head down low, shame because of other people crucifying me and telling me how bad of a person I am when I have the grace of God and he just told me that my purpose is my pain that is wrapped in redemption on a mission.
On a mission. There you go.
So I'm on a mission. So anybody out there that is experiencing pain, that is experiencing hurt and turmoil and trauma, rejection, been left for dead, and no good Samaritan has come on the road to come see about you and take care of you. God is saying that your pain is wrapped in redemption, which is your purpose that is on a mission. Embrace your pain today. Embrace what God has allowed in your life. Because the Bible says when he came in front of his brothers, Joseph said that you meant it for evil, but he meant it for good so that many lives will be saved. And this what the mission and the work is all about, is that many lives will be saved.
Amen.
So you're listening to the BeMEN radio show. We thank you for tuning in to this segment. We're going to be here every week. We're going to be here every week from 4 to 6 on Thursdays. And so we thank you very much for listening. And we look forward to you to come back next week. God bless.